I was sitting at my desk, flipping through case files like it was any other Tuesday, just me, my badge, and a lukewarm cup of gas station coffee when the call came in. Sheriff Davidson? I didn't recognize the number, but the voice was urgent, almost brittle. This is Dr. Sarah Lynn from Ridgeview Medical. Your daughter, Emma, has just been brought in with a gunshot wound. She's in surgery. I suggest you come quickly. Now, I've worn a badge for almost 2 decades. I've responded to every kind of emergency you can imagine. From domestic disputes to homicide scenes that'll haunt you for years. But I swear to God, no training, no vest. No weapon on this earth prepares you to hear that your 16-year-old daughter has just been shot. Emma, my baby girl, born with a heart defect that made every single day a blessing and a gamble all at once. Brightest kid you'd ever meet. Sings off-key, volunteers at the shelter. Loves iced coffee with more cream than coffee, and just trying to live like any other teenager. And now she was on an operating table, fighting for her life. I don't remember driving to the hospital. I remember white-knuckling the wheel, blowing through red lights with sirens in my head even though I didn't turn mine on. I remember my radio crackling with dispatch chatter, stuff I usually cared about, but I didn't hear any of it. My mind was just screaming one thing: get to Emma. By the time I pushed through those ER doors, my wife, Rachel, was already there, her face pale, her hands shaking, trying to hold it together but barely. She was just driving to her cardiologist. Mike, she was being so careful, she whispered. Tell me everything, I said, though I could already feel the anger simmering, rising like lava in my chest. Rachel took a shaky breath. She was going through Valley Oaks, where that HOA president, Margaret, lives. And just like that, everything fell into place. Margaret Tilson, self-declared queen of the neighborhood. HOA president. The kind of woman who'd report a lemonade stand for not having a permit. The kind who posted neighborhood watch signs, but never watched a thing except people she didn't like. She'd had it out for teenagers for years. I'd heard the complaints. Dismissed her as harmless. I was wrong. Emma was driving slowly. You know how careful she is with her meds, making her dizzy sometimes. Margaret came out screaming, accusing her of speeding, of impersonating a cop because of the car. See, Emma drives my old patrol car. Retired unit, legally purchased at auction, stripped of lights and decals. It's safe, it's built like a tank, and after some creep followed her home last year. I figured better safe than sorry. I never expected that decision to almost get her killed. Emma pulled over, trying to be polite, Rachel said. Rolled down the window and asked if everything was okay. Margaret flipped. Said she was impersonating a police officer. Threatened to have her arrested. Emma tried to explain, told her who she was. Margaret wouldn't listen. I could barely breathe. I know how stress triggers Emma's heart episodes. She's been hospitalized before from panic alone. She started clutching her chest. Rachel continued, tears slipping down her face. She was wheezing, trying to get her inhaler. She even called 911 herself. And that's when Margaret, this woman who'd made a career out of false complaints and HOA pettiness, grabbed Emma's phone and started yelling into the call. She told the dispatcher Emma was faking it, that she was just trying to avoid getting arrested. I closed my eyes, saw it unfolding in my mind. My daughter, alone, terrified, unable to breathe, while some woman screamed in her face, treating a medical emergency like a performance. And then Rachel said the words that changed everything. She came back with a gun. Margaret left the scene, went back inside her house, came out waving a damn pistol like she was Rambo on neighborhood patrol. She said she was protecting the neighborhood, Rachel whispered. Yelled that Emma was a liar. A fraud. Said she was going to stop her from fooling anyone else. And then she fired. The bullet hit Emma through the driver's side window, caught her in the shoulder. The shock jerked the wheel. She slammed into a parked car. The airbag deployed, but with her heart condition, it wasn't enough. She went into cardiac arrest right there in the seat. Neighbors called 911 when they heard the shot. Paramedics found her unconscious, bleeding, barely alive. And Margaret? Still standing there with the gun in her hand, telling everyone she'd saved the neighborhood from a threat. I swear, I've arrested murderers who showed more remorse. Dr. Lynn came out not long after, still in her scrubs. Her face was calm, but serious. The surgery went well. The bullet missed any major arteries. But the blood loss and stress triggered a severe cardiac episode. We were able to stabilize her. But it was close. We walked into the room. Emma was unconscious, hooked to machines beeping in a slow rhythm that felt like the only sound in the world. Her hair matted with blood, her arm in a sling, but she was alive. I took her hand and just whispered, "I'm here, baby girl. I'm here." When we finally left her room, something in me shifted. I was still her dad, but I was also the sheriff, and I had work to do. I called my deputy, Sam Greaves. Good man, sharp, loyal, knew this would be personal. "You're leading the investigation," I told him. "I'm recusing myself, but I want it airtight. No loopholes. I want her nailed to the wall." He didn't ask questions, just said, "Already on it." Turns out, Margaret had been escalating for weeks. Sam found home security footage from 3 different houses. Clear as day, Emma was polite. Careful, even when Margaret screamed in her face. You could see the exact moment Emma clutched her chest, gasping, and you could see Margaret mocking her, rolling her eyes, waving her hands like Emma was just being dramatic. And then you see her leave, then come back, gun drawn. She fired without hesitation. Emma never had a chance. Margaret was arrested at the scene, still ranting. Claimed self-defense. Said Emma tried to run her over. Claimed she feared for her life. Claimed my daughter who can't even ride a roller coaster without risking cardiac arrest, was a threat. She didn't know Emma was my daughter. She didn't know who I was. But that didn't stop her from trying to rewrite the whole damn narrative. At the arraignment, she pleaded not guilty. Said she'd do it again. The judge denied bail. 3 months later, Emma testified. Strong, steady, braver than anyone I've ever known. "I was just trying to get to my doctor's appointment," she said, voice trembling. "I thought maybe she needed help. I never thought being kind could almost get me killed." Margaret's defense tried to paint Emma as reckless. Claimed she was impersonating an officer, provoking panic. But the footage told the truth. The calls, the witnesses, the medical records, every piece lined up. When the jury came back with a guilty verdict, Margaret stood up and screamed, "This is a miscarriage of justice." The judge didn't flinch. 15 years. No parole for 10. Margaret looked right at me as they cuffed her. "You think you've won," she sneered. "But I know I was right." I stood, calm as I could. "You shot a 16-year-old girl because you didn't like what she represented. And now, you get to sit in a cell and think about that for a long, long time." Emma's recovery wasn't easy. The physical stuff healed faster than the fear. She had nightmares. Couldn't ride in cars for a while. But slowly, she found her footing. And then one day, she said, "Dad, I want to do something with this. I want to help other kids with conditions like mine. I want to make people understand." So she started a program, taught schools and police departments how to recognize medical distress in teenagers, spoke at conferences, built a network of support for kids like her. She graduated high school with honors, gave a speech that left the room in tears. "They tried to silence me with a bullet," she said, "but I chose to speak louder." She studied medicine, specialized in pediatric cardiology and trauma, helped families, trained first responders, changed policy in 6 counties. Years later, she married a fellow doctor who understood her scars without asking her to hide them. They opened a clinic, part heart center, part counseling practice. Whole families come to heal there now. And me? I still wear the badge, still walk through scenes of violence. But every time I look at her, now 30, thriving, glowing, I know Margaret lost. She tried to end Emma's story. Instead, she lit the spark that turned her into a healer. So here's my question to you. What would you have done if someone came after your child? Would you want revenge or something more? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your take on justice, fear, and second chances. I'll be reading every word.